This Saturday, the 1-0 Virginia Cavaliers traveled to Champaign, Illinois to take on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Last week, the Hoos took down the Richmond Spiders at Scott Stadium 34-17 in the season opener. Meanwhile, Illinois has started the season off with a 1-1 record with a 38-6 win over Wyoming at home in Week 0, and then a 23-20 loss at Indiana to open Big Ten play last week. Overall, this Illinois team should be a challenge for the Hoos, and the Illini are currently sitting as a 4.5-point favorite over Virginia. So what are the keys to the game? The biggest key to this game for me is UVA's run defense. Last year, UVA's run defense was a disaster, giving up nearly 240 rushing yards per game, which ranked 125th of 130 FBS teams. Through one game this year, UVA's run defense hasn't looked much better, giving up 170 rushing yards on 35 carries against a Richmond team that isn't exactly anything special. The Hoos' lack of run defense will make this game really interesting because while Illinois' offense is certainly not great throwing the football with quarterback Tommy DeVito, the one thing they do really well is running the football. Their running back Chase Brown is one of the best running backs in the Big Ten and has been red hot to start the season. In Week 0, Brown ran for 151 yards on 19 carries for 2 touchdowns. He then followed that up with an even better performance last week with 199 rushing yards on an absurd 36 carries. With how good Illinois has been with their rushing attack, the Cavalier defense will have to do a good job winning the battle up front against a solid Illinois offensive line, and the Hoos will also need to do a good job tackling with their linebackers and defensive backs in order to get stops on defense. My second key to this game is UVA's passing attack, led by quarterback Brennan Armstrong. Last week against Richmond, Brennan Armstrong became the all-time leader in career offense at UVA with a solid performance against the Spiders. For the Hoos to win this game against the Illini, they will definitely need Armstrong to be at his best. Last year against Illinois in Scott Stadium, Armstrong lit the Illini's secondary up, throwing for 405 yards with 5 passing touchdowns and just 1 interception on 27 of 36 passing and a 42-14 blowout win for the Hoos. In that big win in 2021, UVA star wide receiver Dontavion Wicks caught 2 touchdowns from Armstrong and one of his many great performances from last year. Even though I think Illinois' defense has taken big strides since then, I still think that their biggest weakness on defense is their secondary. Last week, Indiana quarterback Connor Bazelak had plenty of success against the Illini, throwing for 330 yards with a TD and an INT on 28 of 52 passing. As a result, I think that Armstrong and UVA's talented wide receiver core, which includes Keaton Thompson and Billy Kemp, should be able to have success against the Illinois secondary. So what is my prediction for the game? Well, this is definitely a very tricky matchup for the Hoos. I think the Cavaliers will ultimately come away with a close win. Overall, I think that UVA's passing attack will be too much for Illinois secondary, and I think that UVA's defense will find a way to get enough stops to come away with a 31-27 road win in Champaign.